Hi everyone, my name is Shauna. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you another little book haul. So a lot of these books come from different sources: Book Outlet, Indigo, local bookstore here in my town, an online auction that sometimes happens in my town where they sell books for really cheap. It's a bit of a spread. I'll try to say kind of where I got the books, but yeah, we'll just jump right into it. So the first book that I got from Book Outlet was Entangled Life: How Fungi Make Our World, Change Our Minds, and Shape Our Futures by Merlin Sheldrake, which, can we just for a moment appreciate how pretty the cover is. So I'll just read the little bit here. So when we think of fungi, we likely think of mushrooms, but mushrooms are only the fruiting bodies, very similar to apples on a tree. Most fungi live out of sight, yet make up a massively diverse kingdom of organisms that support and sustain nearly all living systems. In Entangled Life, a brilliant young biologist, Merlin, provides us with an exhilarating change of perspective by showing us the world from the fungal point of view. They can alter our minds, heal our bodies, and even help us remedy the environmental disaster. By examining fungi on their own terms, Sheldrake reveals how these extraordinary organisms and our relationships with them are transforming our understanding of how life works. So yeah, this is a nonfiction all about mushrooms and fungi, and I'm very, very excited about this. I've heard really good things about it, and it's just kind of one of those books that's always kind of been on my radar, and I've never justified buying, but there was a little bit of a sale on Book Outlet, so this ended up being, I think, about 13 bucks, and so I said, finally, I'm going to pick this up because I think this is going to be really interesting. The next book I got was Squire by Sarah Algolfi and Nadia Shamas. Nadia is a Palestinian American writer, and Sarah is a Jordanian American illustrator. So yeah, they came together and made a YA graphic novel which follows Aza, who has always dreamt of becoming a knight. It is the highest military honor of the once great empire that she lives in, and as a member of the recently colonized Orno people, it's her only way to full citizenship. And as the empire is on the brink of war again, Aza can finally enlist in the competitive Squire program that will train young people basically into these kinds of war and military positions. She realizes that she's in a lot more danger than she ever could have imagined, and she will have to choose loyalty to her heart and heritage or loyalty to the empire. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I've heard really good things about this book, and I'm excited to pick it up. The next two I got from Indigo. So I have Children of Ruin by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is the second book in the Children of Time series. I'm being very bad. I haven't read Children of Time yet, but I do have intentions of reading it. I think like July, because there is in Buzzwordathon over at Books and Lala, it's like measurements is the like prompt for July, I think. So it's like time or distance or anything like that. So I do have intentions of reading it really soon, but I won't give the synopsis of this because I'll probably spoil myself. But Children of Time, which is the first book, is all about basically humans have left Earth and they are trying to like terraform a new kind of world, and they basically send down like a chemical compound basically to speed up evolution for monkeys, and then obviously all sorts of weird and wonderful and wacky things kind of evolve from there. The reason that I am so like I just want to read it as soon as possible is because last month I read In the Mountain in the Sea by Ray Noller, which is all about like octopus sentience and intelligence, and I know that there is going to be alien animal intelligence happening in this series, and I'm going to be so here for it. But yes, this is Children of Ruin. This is book 2. I bought it because I have a suspicious feeling I'm going to love it, and my partner has been loving this series, so I just had to pick it up so that I had the next one on my shelf. This one also came from Indigo. This is Spy X Family Volume 11 by Tetsuya Endo. I won't give too much of like what this volume will be about, but just generally it's a series of a family that makes up a spy, an assassin, and a telepath. And they have all sorts of weird and wacky and wonderful wholesome adventures as they try to never reveal their true nature to each other. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I've been loving this series. I have been reading it since it like started getting published in like English translation. The TV show I watch, like it's just so much fun, and such a nice palate cleanser between really heavy reads. The next one I have, also from Indigo, is Close to Death by Anthony Horowitz. This is book, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, book 5 in the detective, like Daniel Hawthorne series. I think this is book 5. But we have basically a really kind of small, kind of like gated community in London, and all of the inhabitants are living a perfect life. And then comes Giles Kenworthy, who moves in with his 4 gas-guzzling cars, loud parties, noisy kids, and the neighbors basically all hate him. And then he ends up dead with a crossbow. And every single member in this gated community has a motive to kill him. So we're trying to figure out who did it. These are kind of cozy mysteries. They are so much fun. I love Anthony Horowitz's writing. It is just so like engaging. Also, all of the covers are so pretty. I love them. But yes, this is a continuation of a series that I've been absolutely loving. So I'm looking forward to it. Next, I have just a book from a local bookstore here in my hometown, which is called A Flat Place, Moving Through Empty Landscapes, Naming Complex Trauma by Noreen Madsud. This says, when Noreen left her native Pakistan at the age of 15, fleeing a psychologically abusive home, she was looking for escape. Little did she know that her departure was only the beginning of an even stranger, harder journey through the legacy of complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. In the forbidden beauty of flat landscapes, she finds solace for her soul and relief from her trauma. So I've mentioned this in many previous videos, but I'm always looking for content around CPTSD or complex trauma. So the fact that I found this at my local bookstore, and they were actually selling it as part of kind of like a charity event, so all of the money went towards a charity initiative, was fantastic. I couldn't have been happier to find this book, and I'm looking forward to reading it. And the last few are from, like I mentioned at the beginning, an online auction that sometimes happens in my town where they sell books for cheap. It's really weird. It's very niche. It's like once in a blue moon this happens, but I did end up getting a couple books for, I think maybe like $7 in total, like just very cheap. So I have Crier's War by Nina Varela. This is called oh my god, I can't remember the name of the duology. I'm pretty sure it's the duology, but anyways, after the War of Kinds, the sort of like autonoma, designed to be playthings of royals, usurp the estates of their owners and bend the human race to their will. And now we have kind of a human servant who serves in the sovereign house, and we have the sovereign's daughter, which is Lady Crier. They have some kind of relationship, friendship, enemies, lovers to enemies, enemies to lovers, to be determined, but she is a book that I have heard nothing but good things about, and I am like, I've been humming and hawing a really long time about this, because I find I kind of like YA fantasy can be really hit or miss with me, especially when there's like really intense like romance aspects. But this is sapphic, and I have a suspicious feeling this will sneak its way into my heart. So I did pick this up, and it was like $2, so I'm like, it's okay. But I'm like, I've been putting off reading this book for so long because I'm like scared it's not going to live up to my like hype in my mind. The next one I have is #MeToo and Literary Studies, which is reading, writing, and teaching about sexual violence and rape culture. This is edited by Mary Kay Holland and Heather Hewitt. So it says, literature has always recorded a history of patriarchy, sexual violence, and resistance. #MeToo and Literary Studies helps readers, students, teachers, and scholars face and challenge our culture of sexual violence by confronting it through the study of literature. So yeah, this is a really interesting book, and when I saw it on the auction, I had never heard of it before, so I thought to pick it up and give it a go, because I do think that this will be really powerful. And as someone, I don't necessarily teach about this, but I am in a lot of spheres that requires kind of like community intervention. I do want to keep myself educated on content like this, especially when it has to deal with rape culture and any kind of sexual violence. And last but not least, I have From the Ashes by Jessie Thistle, which is my story of being Métis, homeless, and finding my way home. And this says, abandoned by his parents as a toddler, Jesse briefly found himself in the foster care system with his two brothers, cut away from all that they had known. Eventually, children landed in a home of their paternal grandparents, whose tough love attitudes quickly resulted in conflicts. Throughout it all, the ghost of Jesse's drug-addicted father haunted the halls of the house and the memories of every family member. Struggling with all that had happened, Jesse succumbed to a self-destructive cycle of drug and alcohol addiction, petty crime, spending more than a decade on and off the streets. Finally, he realized he would die unless he turned his life around. In this heartwarming and heart-wrenching memoir, Thistle writes honestly and fearlessly about his painful past, the abuse he endured, and how he uncovered the truth about his parents. Through sheer preservation and education and newfound love, he found his way back into the circle of his Indigenous culture and family. I've heard really... I probably say this about every book. I've heard really good things about this book, but this is also a really big personal goal of mine, which is to read more nonfiction books by Indigenous authors as well as 2S LGBTQIA+ authors throughout 2024. And so I wanted to make sure to add this one to my collection, as I don't actually read a lot of book from individuals who identify as Métis. This is something that's really kind of interesting, but it's like here in Canada, there's First Nations, Inuit, and Métis, and I find that I can find a lot of content on First Nations, a little bit of content on Inuit, but a lot less content on Métis. So that's a big goal of mine, is to fill that kind of knowledge gap that I have around one of the original peoples of Canada, which is the Métis. But yeah, that's the last book that I have for this book haul. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know if there's any books that kind of spoke to you that you maybe want to check out in the comment section below, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye.